Salute, 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 man. This is boxing, nocturnal thoughts, man. I'm gonna come at y'all with a real quick video, and I'm gonna get out y'all way. First of all, I do want to say to all of the new subscribers to the channel, bow, proper salute to you. Also, I gotta say to Mr. Gary Russell Jr., just lost to Max Sayal. I'm gonna say that Mr. Gary Russell Jr. had a bad day in the office. Before he went into this fight, on the interviews, The Last Man Standing with Brian Custer, he was already saying that he was going into this fight with an injury. I think the only thing he didn't do was disclose the exact details of the injury, where the injury was on his shoulder. But he said he was injured and that some people might even be able to, pick up the little telltale signs, pick up the telltale signs watching the fight, that they might even be able to pick up on what his injury was. Watching the fight, it was a lot more clear what was injured. Very clear. Written all over your face. The way he grimaced and the way his face reflected the pain, the instant pain, to where that shoulder just completely went out. The way that arm pretty much just dangled out there, and the fact that you've never seen him ever again pump the jab out and use the other hand, you could see what his injury was. You know what I'm saying? I see the next day after the fight, a lot of people have back and forth conversation. Was it a robbery? Was it a fix? Was it this? Was it that? I'm gonna say that to me, Max Sayal just did what he had to do to continue to apply pressure to a wounded fighter in survival mode, and I can't take anything away from that. The fact that Gary Russell Jr. let it be known that he was going into this fight with an injury, that also eliminates the idea of me saying that he was just using this as an excuse to come up short. And the fact that you could see his injury play out in the fourth round throughout the entirety of the fight. I'm gonna be honest, to see somebody fight with one arm almost puts the sweet science on full display. Even though it took away some of his versatility, where he couldn't do everything that he would do if he was 100% healthy, him being injured made it easier for you to see some of the sweet science, some of the brilliance of his performance. The way he was able to duck and roll under shots and pivot, and then put you back on the line and line you up and hit you almost at will multiple times with one hand. So you could imagine if he was able to be more versatile, more virtuoso, if he could go this way, go that way, use his hand, use that hand, spin you around and do those things. If he was able to do what he did with one hand going 12 rounds, you can imagine what he would have been able to do if he was fully capable. But I say that just to say I was impressed, not to say that I'm taking anything away from the winner. The right man won that fight, and I take my hat off to him. And now I can't wait to see what he does from this point forward, because he was not on my radar. This fight really wasn't on my radar, honestly, because Gary Russell Jr., since he fought Lomachenko, he really hasn't fought anybody that made me really stand up and get up to pay attention to. And he was talking about fighting the Dream Devin Haney is when I was really interested in what Gary Russell would do. Not so much as when he was talking about fighting Leo Santa Cruz. I thought that was not a great moment for him when he was addressing Leo Santa Cruz's father backstage and was touching his necklace and things like that. And he went on to apologize for that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was a good look when he was attacking Bernard Hatchett and little Jaleel Hatchett when they was both kind of intervening, I think Bernard Hatchett was telling him what he should go do is go fight Burchell. And then it turned into this war between him and Hatchett, and then Lil Hatchett got brought into it. And I thought that wasn't a good look. And then he was talking about fighting Devin the Dream Haney, and this whole contract situation started going back and forth, and Batman and Bill Haney was going back and forth, and I didn't think that was a good look for Gary Russell. But I love Gary Russell in the family unit that they have with the father and all the sons. I love to see that. You know what I'm saying? That dynamic, the way they make that work. I'm sorry to hear that he lost one of his brothers. That was heartbreaking for me. And when I heard that his father had lost a foot, once they start chopping off limbs, it really gets ugly with diabetes. So I was happy to hear about that. But as far as him fighting Max Sayal, I figured that was just going to be another fight that he would bank, get a good 12-round decision victory. But I was not aware that he was going into that fight with that significant of an injury. The way that injury played out, to me, was bittersweet. You know what I'm saying? And hope he gets a rematch and he can fully recover and come back and fight if that's what he chooses to do. But we'll see. The fight to me was an action-packed fight. You know what I'm saying? To see somebody fight with one arm, to see somebody you could tell, to me, was a little bit more one-dimensional and not get so frustrated by the skill set and able to stick to his plan and just outwork you and hit your body and try to slow you down, and not just completely, he could have took his foot off the gas pedal. You seen Lomachenko, when Lomachenko had Richard Commey hurt, he waved to the people to stop the fight, and he carried Richard Commey. You know what I'm saying? The fact that Max Sayal knew he was up against threat the whole fight, where he couldn't take his foot off the gas and applied pressure the whole 12 rounds. I have to give my props to that and say it was a good fight to see. Surprisingly, it was a good fight to see. I really want to go back now that it's all said and done. I really want to go back, watch round for round with my scorecard, and really see exactly how that fight plays out to me. Because watching it now, to me, I said the right man won. You know what I'm saying? But I might be able to go back and watch that thing and really pick up on a little bit of details once, the excitement kind of wears off and you just watching the fight, you know what I'm saying? The commentating is down, and you're not just looking at Mr. Gary Russell Jr. versus somebody you never heard of, and just really, really watch that fight and see if it changes one way or the other way. You know what I'm saying? But from what I see right now, the right person won, but it was a great fight. And it's hard to say that it wouldn't have went the other way if Gary Russell was 100% healthy. It's hard to say that. Right now, I'm saying that if he was 100% healthy, or he didn't have that injury that was that significant, I think the outcome would have been different. You know what I'm saying? But to say it was a robbery, and to say that he won 10 rounds of 2 or 9 rounds of 3, right now, I really can't argue that. I can go back and watch it, and maybe that changes just a little bit, because that happens sometimes. Even with Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko, or Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos, when you go back and watch the fights, they just change just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait to go back and really digest this fight and watch it and slow it down and break down every single round for round, and really break it down to see how that fight plays out again the second time around. Boxing Nocturnal Thoughts, man, I appreciate y'all time, and like I said, to all the new subscribers, I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. And leave me a comment, man. I'm gone.